What if you could train your mind like a monk, find inner peace in chaos, and unlock your true purpose? Today, we're diving into one of the most transformative books on mindset and personal growth. Welcome to Book Summaries channel, where we break down powerful books to help you grow. Today's book is Think Like a Monk by Shetty, a former monk who shares ancient wisdom for modern life. Shetty begins by sharing his journey from a London business school student to a monk in India. He explains that our identity is often shaped by external expectations from family, society, and media rather than our true selves. Monks practice detaching from these external pressures to discover their authentic identity. Shetty introduces the concept that we wear masks to fit in, but these masks prevent us from finding real happiness. He emphasizes that letting go of who you think you should be is the first step to becoming who you truly are. The chapter explores how childhood experiences and societal conditioning create false identities. Shetty teaches that awareness is the key to breaking free from these patterns. He shares meditation practices that help quiet the noise of external expectations. The author explains that monks spend years unlearning societal programming to find their true nature. By releasing attachment to labels and roles, we create space for genuine self-discovery. This chapter sets the foundation for the entire monk mindset transformation. This chapter focuses on identifying and removing negativity from your environment. Shetty explains that negativity acts like a virus, spreading through complaints, gossip, and toxic relationships. He introduces the monk practice of protecting your mental space as carefully as you would protect your physical home. The author shares that monks are taught to recognize three types of people: those who inspire you, those who drain you, and those who are neutral. Shetty provides practical strategies for distancing yourself from energy vampires without being cruel. He discusses how our environment shapes our thoughts, and toxic environments create toxic mindsets. The chapter explores the psychology behind why we're drawn to negativity and drama. Shetty teaches techniques for redirecting conversations away from gossip and complaints. He emphasizes that saying no to negativity is saying yes to your peace and growth. The author shares personal stories of leaving toxic friendships during his monk training. This chapter empowers readers to create boundaries that protect their mental and emotional well-being. Shetty explores how fear paralyzes us and prevents growth. He distinguishes between fears that protect us and fears that limit us. Monks learn to sit with their fears through meditation rather than running from them. The author explains that most of our fears are imagined scenarios that never actually happen. He introduces the concept that fear often disguises itself as logic and reason. Shetty shares the monk practice of visualizing worst-case scenarios to remove their power. He teaches that courage isn't the absence of fear, but action despite fear. The chapter explores how childhood experiences create deep-rooted fears that control adult behavior. Shetty provides exercises for identifying the root causes of your specific fears. He emphasizes that facing small fears builds confidence to tackle bigger ones. The author shares his own fears about leaving the ashram and returning to modern life. This chapter transforms fear from an enemy into a teacher and guide for personal development. This chapter teaches the importance of living with clear intention rather than drifting through life. Shetty explains that monks begin each day by setting intentions aligned with their values. He distinguishes between intentions, which we control, and outcomes, which we don't. The author introduces the concept that most people confuse goals with purpose. Shetty teaches that purpose is about how you want to feel and who you want to become, not what you want to achieve. He shares the monk practice of asking why 5 times to uncover true motivations. The chapter explores how societal programming often hijacks our intentions with external measures of success. Shetty provides exercises for identifying your core values and aligning daily actions with them. He emphasizes that small, intentional actions compound into massive life changes. The author explains that intention without action is just daydreaming. This chapter helps readers shift from reactive living to purposeful, intentional existence. Shetty introduces the concept of Dharma, your unique purpose in life. He explains that Dharma sits at the intersection of your passions, talents, and what the world needs. The author shares that finding your purpose is a journey of experimentation, not a sudden revelation. Shetty teaches the Venn diagram approach: passion, expertise, and usefulness. He emphasizes that purpose isn't always what makes you happy, but what makes you feel fulfilled. The chapter explores how modern culture confuses pleasure with purpose. Shetty provides exercises for discovering your natural talents and passions. He shares stories of people who found purpose in unexpected places. The author warns against waiting for the perfect purpose before taking action. Shetty teaches that purpose evolves as you grow and change. He introduces the concept of service as a pathway to discovering deeper purpose. The chapter emphasizes that living your Dharma brings unshakable satisfaction regardless of external circumstances. This section transforms the abstract concept of purpose into actionable self-discovery. This chapter explores how monks structure their days around routines that support spiritual growth. Shetty explains that willpower is limited, but routines remove the need for constant decision-making. He introduces the concept of location, time, and state as triggers for habit formation. The author shares the monk practice of waking before sunrise for meditation and reflection. Shetty teaches that morning routines set the tone for the entire day. He emphasizes that small, consistent actions create more transformation than sporadic intense efforts. The chapter explores the psychology of habit loops: trigger, routine, and reward. Shetty provides practical strategies for designing routines that align with your values and goals. He warns against trying to change everything at once and recommends starting with one keystone habit. The author shares his own struggles with maintaining routines after leaving the ashram. Shetty introduces the concept of habit stacking, where you attach new habits to existing ones. This chapter turns abstract monk wisdom into concrete daily practices anyone can implement. Shetty teaches that the mind is like a wild horse that needs training. He explains that monks spend years learning to observe thoughts without becoming them. The author introduces the concept that you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind them. Shetty shares meditation techniques for creating space between stimulus and response. He explores how the monkey mind jumps from thought to thought, creating chaos and anxiety. The chapter provides exercises for recognizing thought patterns and breaking destructive cycles. Shetty teaches the practice of labeling thoughts as facts or stories. He emphasizes that controlling your mind is the foundation of all other personal development. The author explains how negative thought spirals gain momentum and how to interrupt them. Shetty introduces the concept of mental detoxing through silence and solitude. He shares that monks practice silence to hear the wisdom beneath the mental noise. This chapter empowers readers to become the master of their mind rather than its slave. This chapter examines how ego creates suffering and blocks growth. Shetty distinguishes between healthy self-esteem and destructive ego. He explains that ego makes everything about you, even when it's not. The author shares how monks practice humility by performing menial tasks and serving others. Shetty teaches that ego thrives on comparison, constantly measuring yourself against others. He explores how ego protects us from vulnerability, but also prevents authentic connection. The chapter provides techniques for recognizing when ego is controlling your decisions. Shetty emphasizes that letting go of ego doesn't mean thinking less of yourself, but thinking of yourself less. He shares personal stories of his ego being challenged during monk training. The author explains that ego creates attachment to being right rather than seeking truth. Shetty introduces practices for cultivating humility and openness. This chapter reveals how ego sabotages relationships, career growth, and inner peace. Shetty explores gratitude as a fundamental monk practice for transforming perspective. He explains that gratitude shifts focus from what's missing to what's present. The author teaches that monks begin each day with gratitude meditation. Shetty introduces the concept that gratitude is not just feeling thankful, but actively expressing appreciation. He shares research showing gratitude's impact on mental health, relationships, and overall well-being. The chapter provides exercises for developing a daily gratitude practice. Shetty emphasizes that gratitude doesn't ignore problems, but provides strength to face them. He warns against toxic positivity and teaches authentic gratitude that acknowledges challenges. The author shares stories of finding gratitude in the most difficult circumstances. Shetty explains that complaining is the opposite of gratitude and drains energy. He introduces the practice of gratitude letters and expressing appreciation to people directly. This chapter transforms gratitude from a cliché into a powerful tool for rewiring the brain. This chapter examines how to build deep, authentic relationships in a superficial world. Shetty explains that monks value quality over quantity in relationships. He teaches that the 5 people you spend the most time with shape who you become. The author introduces the concept of different relationship circles: teachers, friends, and those you serve. Shetty emphasizes that healthy relationships require boundaries, honesty, and mutual growth. He explores how modern technology creates the illusion of connection without true intimacy. The chapter provides strategies for having difficult conversations with compassion. Shetty teaches the importance of listening deeply without planning your response. He shares that monks practice seeing the divine in everyone, even difficult people. The author warns against using relationships to fill inner voids. Shetty introduces practices for nurturing existing relationships rather than constantly seeking new ones. This chapter helps readers cultivate relationships that elevate rather than drain. Shetty teaches that service is the highest expression of monk philosophy. He explains that true fulfillment comes from contributing to something larger than yourself. The author shares that monks dedicate their lives to serving others without expectation of reward. Shetty introduces the concept that service doesn't require grand gestures, but can happen in daily interactions. He emphasizes that service shifts focus from taking to giving. The chapter explores how serving others paradoxically fills your own cup. Shetty provides practical ways to incorporate service into busy modern life. He warns against performative service done for recognition or validation. The author teaches that service begins with serving those closest to you. Shetty shares stories of small acts of kindness creating ripple effects. He introduces the practice of asking, "How can I help?" in every situation. This chapter reveals service as the ultimate path to purpose and meaning.